On Thursday, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, in partnership with UNFPA, held a high-level dialogue to discuss possible ways of ending gender-based violence across the country. At the meeting, it was revealed that whereas Uganda has made major strides in combating gender-based violence, there are some pockets of the country that continue to record high cases of the vice.
23% of women and 14% of men as a take-home experienced physical violence in the 12 months preceding the survey. 11% of women and 4% of men experienced sexual violence in the last 12 months before the survey. Violence during pregnancy was experienced by 9%.
Reacting to this, members of parliament who are in attendance apportioned the blame on the fact that majority Ugandans lack awareness about the different forms of gender-based violence. These openly lashed out at the police's Department of Family and Children Affairs for being a stumbling block to the access to justice among victims of gender-based violence.
Men are suffering the more in the hands of the women. And it's quite unfortunate that the police officers and all the security organs, they feel that men are stronger and they cannot report such a case.
Female genital mutilation. Go against it, don't fear that you lose votes. It is inhuman. You are cutting where pleasure is. What is this?
In attendance was the Acting Director of Forensic Services at Uganda Police Force, Andrew Mubiru, who attested to the fact that most victims of gender-based violence play a big role in failing the justice system on personal grounds.
Police is just on a receiving end to all these going concerns. And what was mentioned in the world of negotiations is what we are seeing as the biggest challenge to dealing with GBV matters. An issue is reported. And even before we can begin processing the file, somebody comes back and says, you see, for us, we have agreed. Now, there is no way you can process a case when you don't have a complainant.
Speaking on behalf of the development partners, the head of mission of the Austria Development Agency, Katia, urged that government efforts towards the elimination of gender-based violence require addressing deeply rooted social and cultural norms that continue to perpetuate the vice.
However, we must also recognize that achieving this goal goes beyond just legal reforms. It requires changing mindsets.
Away from this, the Deputy Representative of UNFPA in Uganda, Daniel Alemu, stressed the need for increased funding towards any efforts directed at eliminating all forms of gender-based violence across the country.
We would like to call upon the members of parliament here present to commit to ensure that necessary budget commitments are made and an increased and adequate amount is allocated through the national budget.
It's against this background that the Minister for Gender and Culture at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Dr. Mutuzo, called for the establishment of radio stations in the identified hotspots of gender-based violence to facilitate sensitization programs.
Kindly do us one thing, if you can kindly. We need a radio in Amdat and another one in Kapchorwa. Bukwo, sorry. In Bukwo. We need the Bukwo people are here. If Kapchorwas were here, they also. But Bukwo has Kapchorwa has radios, so we need a radio station in Bukwo, which will be committed to addressing issues of violence, including other productive work.
The high-level dialogue was held in accordance with the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.